Good morning. My name is Judge Tangela Barrie. I'm the judge for Division 10. This is an emergency matter brought, let's see, we have the plaintiff, Hernandez, and the defendant, Mr. Ellison. Looks like we have Ms. Hernandez with us. Have you heard from Mr. Ellison? Ms. Hernandez?
No, ma'am. Your Honor.
Okay. All right, tell me what's going on.
Mr. Ellison had called Child Protective Services to my residence, and upon having a conversation with the caseworker, he spoke back with Mr. Ellison, and Mr. Ellison had failed to appear in Gwinnett for the interference in DeKalb County for the interference of custody, and he was arrested in Gwinnett. This was during his summer visitation period. So he had his girlfriend, instead of waiting for me to get there when the caseworker contacted me, he had his girlfriend take Christian to his parents' home, which they refused to communicate or open the door and give me Christian back. From there, when he got out of jail, I believe that was Monday morning because it happened over the weekend, he wasn't able to make bond or hear from the judge. He then took Christian and refused to return him, refused to take him back to the school in Gwinnett, to the point where they had to withdraw him because he had already missed 10 consecutive days with no excuse. And from there, he enrolled him into the Barack Obama Magnet School in DeKalb County. And I had no idea what school Christian was going to until we went to the hearing with the case that he has for the same thing, the interference of custody. And the state attorney pulled Christian to the side and asked Christian what school he was going to, if he was going to school. And when he told the state attorney what school he was going to, I was able to go to the school and get a little information on how he was enrolled in the school, but not much because I didn't enroll him. They had no court order. I gave them the court order, but from there, they still wouldn't cooperate with me.
Okay, so, and let's start from the beginning. In August of 2023, you filed a complaint for a petition for modification of custody.
Yes.
All right, and tell me what's going on. Who initially had custody?
Well, we have joint, but I have primary physical custody. It's always pretty much been that way.
So you were awarded primary physical custody.
Correct.
Joint legal.
I'm sorry, Your Honor, can you repeat that?
You had joint legal.
Yes.
And so your position was you were trying to do what? In your petition, what did you want?
Full custody.
You wanted supervised visitation?
Correct, for Mr. Ellison.
Okay, and why was that?
Because he's shown that he's not able to co-parent, and I'm not sure exactly what he has going on. I just know that he has strange women around Christian, different women around him. And it was a phone that Christian came home with. It was a phone. The last time he interfered with custody, he was arrested by DeKalb County. Christian had an iPhone, and I believe it was Sam's old iPhone. And I'm assuming that the data, the videos and everything is still synced to his phone. He didn't quite delete those images and those videos. And upon going through that device, I found some disturbing footages of him penetrating a woman in there, and just some nasty videos and footages. And this phone Christian had access to.
Like regular videos, like all Christian have to do is like go into the regular video file and watch them.
Yes.
Did Mr. Ellison know that they were on there?
I'm not sure if he knew, but I know that, that's pretty much how iPhone work. I believe the iCloud, whatever you have in your old iPhone, you can have it transferred to your new one, but it's still in your old iPhone unless you delete it.
Okay.
Front door open. Front door locked.
So then looks like you served him on October 2nd, and then you did this motion. So where's your child now?
I'm assuming he's in the Barack Obama school. I'm not sure. He hasn't missed about 14 unexcused absences from this school.
From Barack Obama?
Yes, ma'am.
So you don't know where he is?
He may be in the school, or he may be in the home. He was enrolled in this school, and I went there last week.
When you show the police this document, they didn't immediately give you back Christian?
No. They said they needed something new. The school told me this, I believe it was Friday I went up there. They told me the same thing. They needed, because I believe it's temporary, and I explained to them it's a standing order. They were telling me they
What's a
needed.
standing order? This is a document. It's a final judgment. It gives
Correct.
you final, it gives you final, let me look back at it. I don't see how there's any confusion. Citation. Well, in the one that was submitted, for each party, the primary physical custodian shall be, and in that joint plan, it's missing. No. I see it now. No, it's marked mother. Yeah, it's at the top. It's marked mother. I don't know what the school need. To me, they're interfering. I can't believe the school would even respond that way, because normally they're very particular and they respond according to the court order. Like, they're not going to do anything outside of the court order. If anything, they would have told him he couldn't enroll the child, because, I mean, even though he has joint legal, you have primary physical, so the child cannot be enrolled outside of your district generally, and you have a major decision on all including education. Your decisions would trump. I'm just amazed that the school would even. So when was the last time you saw him?
The last time I saw him was, I believe that was before Thanksgiving, at the court hearing he had for the interference of custody. And I pretty much explained the same thing you're saying to me to the school. I emailed them a copy
But the interference custody, they didn't award the child back to you?
Well, it was a criminal case. So the state attorney told me that we could pretty much go back to court and do it the right way. I didn't want to traumatize Christian, because I seen that Sam had already been alienating him and trying to convince him, because the things that he said to me and the state attorney, I didn't want to cause a scene in there. So I just let him do what he chose to do.
So it looked like the child was trying to stay with his dad.
Correct.
Because he's about 12 or 11 now?
He's 11. He's about to be 12.
When will he be 12?
On the 4th of March.
So the state attorney didn't return the child to you immediately?
No, because it was a criminal case hearing.
Right.
No, she said that the criminal judge and they don't get involved in that. But since there is a new case open,
they found him guilty of interference of custody and let him keep the kid. What's the point?
No, they didn't find him guilty. It was a status hearing, and they rescheduled it because he failed to appear. So they rescheduled it to that day that we appeared, and then they rescheduled it. I guess she wanted to get some time to get some understanding and get something from the judge to go forward.
If I grant you this order, what's your intent, to go to the school and pick him up?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And why did you not feel that you could do that off of the motion order you already had?
I did. I was 100% strong. I called the police, and instead of the police coming, they sent the campus officer, and it just didn't go well. It just didn't go well. And the granddaddy came to the school, and he was threatening me and basically telling the school he's a veteran. And I don't know what they have going on, honestly, Your Honor. But I presented myself the same way we're discussing now, with the court order.
I'm over the moon over it. Like, I can't believe it, because this is a very clear cut case. Like, there's no waffle here. You have the authority to move, and I don't know how anyone would tell you you don't. I don't even know how someone could even begin to tell you no. I would be afraid, if I were in the school system, with a final order like this, to tell you you can't get a child, and you've been waiting for this child for months.
Yes, ma'am. He was withdrawn from Gwinnett County School because of the missed days, and I explained that to the school. They had no court order. When Sam took Christian to enroll in the school, he didn't present them with a court order. So I showed up with the court order, because they couldn't give me any information over the phone after Christian told the state attorney what school he was going to. So I went there with a certified copy of the order that Mr. Ellison never presented.
I'm going to give you an order indicating this child is to be returned to your custody instanter, and that the school system should ensure that happens. And I'm also going to put in here that I will temporarily suspend his custody until he appears before this court.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you'll have that order before the end of the day. You got to get a certified copy of it. So you might want to come down to the courthouse. If you come down to the courthouse, let's say about 1 o'clock, I should have the order ready, and then you can get a certified copy of it. So it's certified when you go to the school. It's clear that this child is supposed to be returned to you immediately.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you so much.
Do y'all have any other proceedings in any other courtroom right now, other than the interference of custody that you mentioned?
No, ma'am. I know he tried to file for a dependency in the juvenile court of Gwinnett County, and it was denied.
When did he do that?
That was on the 3rd of August, 2023, where the judge denied that petition.
All right. Take care.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Hernandez is appearing via Zoom. You see Mr. Ellison appearing via Zoom, and Mr. Ellison's attorney, Ms. Smith, also appearing via Zoom. Oh, give me 1 second. I'm trying to organize. There we go. It's better organization. The reason why we're here is that the court had a hearing. I believe that hearing was on the 13th, indicating that the child at issue should be returned to Ms. Hernandez, and she's indicated that she has not been able to have that occur. The school will not assist her. Apparently, police tried and was unable to assist her. So we had this hearing on her motion to enforce. So I don't know, Ms. Smith, if you can give me an understanding of why the hearing is necessary.
This was requested by Ms. Mejia. I represent Mr. Ellison. My client would like to share with the court the reasons for why the child has not been returned. I don't know if you want to hear from Ms. Mejia first. And
No, I've already had a hearing. I had the hearing already for Ms. Mejia Hernandez. We had the hearing on Wednesday, and I ordered that the child be returned. Mr. Ellison did not appear at that hearing, and so I ordered the child be returned at that moment, and that has not occurred. Instead, I understood that you filed an entry in the case when she asked the court to enforce it. Really, her motion was to some extent unnecessary because I had already written an order, but it just wasn't adhered to.
Yes, Your Honor. I think I entered an entry either yesterday or late the day before in the modification case. I wasn't aware of the court date on the 13th. I wasn't his attorney at that time. I'd not entered an entry of appearance. I'd not, he had but in any event, I am here representing him on this matter to provide information to the court, whatever the court needs. So we're here already.
Okay, yes, I need to hear from him as to why he hasn't returned the child.
Okay. Mr. Ellison, will you please unmute your phone? Will you please unmute your phone, because the judge, I need to ask questions. And turn your camera back on. Mr. Ellison, do you recall being served with a modification action that we're in court for today? The civil action number is, do you recall if and when you were served with that action?
No, ma'am, I don't.
Okay. And were you aware of the hearing on February the 13th that took place?
No, I wasn't.
Okay. Can you please tell the court what your concerns are about your son, Christian, and why the child has not been returned to her?
Well, ma'am, I've been going through a lot of problems with Christian's mother since he's been born. So he's 12 years old now. And she is not really willing to work with. She's caused my son to be behind mentally, physically, and he really needs help as far as he just needs help. And his mother is physically and mentally abusing him. So last year during the summer, I was supposed to get my son twice.
Okay, Mr.
I
Ellison,
can
you're
barely
just a
hear you.
little bit muffled. Okay, you started off very clear, but now it's
Okay.
muffled.
Can you hear me?
That's better, yes.
Last year during the summer, I was supposed to pick up Christian twice. And the first time I was unsuccessful. A couple other times I tried, but I never got police reports. And finally my son called me because during the summer, it was like maybe every other week he's calling me saying, the police are coming, my mom's fighting, he's fighting, and they're pulling out guns and they're just being this disruptive. He'll call me and get his sisters and run in the closet and hide until the police gets there. And when I talk to the police, it's an hour before me to get there. So usually they'll get there before I do. Or usually I don't go and then they'll call me and let me know what happened. But this goes on a couple of times out the week. He has to call me. Mom and them, they're going at it again. I have to call the police. So one day he calls me, Dad, this is the weekend I didn't get a chance to see him Father's Day. And she'll hide him from me because he'll have bruises on him. She'll just be abusive to him. So she'll hide him so that I won't find this out. So finally he calls me and said, Dad, come and get me. So I asked him, I said, I'm gonna have to call the police. He was like, Dad, and I have the text messages to show you that. So I called Gwinnett County Police Department. I asked Christian, I said, you sure? Because I'm on the phone with him. And he was like, yeah, Dad, come and get me. So I went with the police, and my attorney has a police report for that. So we went to the house, and the police was able to get about the house. And he's been with me ever since. So ever since then, I've been trying to go to court, defy for his dependency. I've tried DFACs. They'll help to a certain point, but they'll, they would just, I guess just give me information that really wasn't being, physically helping me with it. So I had to, retain an attorney. But it's like every time I'm turning around, this mental abuse is going on, physical abuse is going on with my son. And now he has the opportunity to grow. I took him out of school. And the reason being why she wasn't able to get him out of school, why she wasn't able to work with these different agencies was because of the police reports. It was because of what was going on, the abuse that's going on within her house. So they was helping me out to get him away from that. And I'm finding.
I don't believe that. There is no way the police is gonna defy my order based upon the fact.
No, I'm not saying defy your order, ma'am. I'm not saying, I don't know what's going on now with the order, but I just know the way DeKalb County School is, they have their own legal affairs. And I even have the letter that I've given my lawyer about what happened at the school with his mother, that he was screaming for his life, that he ran from his mother saying, somebody help me. So they had to shut the school down. They had to call me away from work to go to the school because whatever that was going on between Christian and his mother, it had surfaced and he didn't want to go back to her.
You mean yesterday they shut the school down because he didn't want
No, not yesterday. This was a couple of months ago. I don't know what happened the other day when she went to the school, but the thing is, from that situation when she tried to go to the school and get him, they wouldn't allow her to come up there because of the Christian fear for his life, fearing for his safety. I'm not gonna say his life, but fearing for his safety. So the school was trying to protect him, and that's the reason why they wasn't allowing
I'm
her.
not sure what the school was trying to do. We'll deal with that later because my order specifically indicated that this child was supposed to go back to his mother. Mr. Ellison, on October 2nd of 2023, I received the entry of service from the sheriff's department indicating that you were personally served with this petition for modification of child support and also for custody. That was filed by the sheriff's department indicating that you were served. After you were served,
I've gotten that one. I've gotten that one.
Right, and that means that you're in the middle of a case. That means that court is proceeding. Therefore,
Yes.
I tell you to come to court, you're supposed to come to court because court is proceeding.
Yes.
And we sent you a notice. It was an expedited hearing based upon the motion that came in on an emergency hearing. I sent that notice to you.
I've never gotten that, ma'am. I promise you, I didn't get it. I'm talking about what's going on with my son.
So how did you get here then? How did you know about the order?
The way I found out about the order was I was sending emails to my attorney and I sent her the email, I guess, when she was at court that day, and she was sending in her evidence. So it was on February the 13th. Rochelle had to, I guess, email the court and send it to me, what she was using as evidence for court.
And Your Honor, I can state my place. That is correct. He forwarded the emails to me that that Rochelle had, Miss Mejia, excuse me, had copied him on, and then I had my assistant go onto the e-file system, and that's how we found out about the order, and then the subsequent hearing for today.
Okay. So
I do have a copy of the letter from the school if the court is interested, that we would like to admit into evidence. It's some of the history of the past few months. Now, I understand the court issued an order on the 13th, but my client would just like the court to know some of the background that's going on.
who's the attorney that wrote the letter from the school?
It is, I'll have to look. It is the principal from the school. It's the principal from the school.
Right.
Miss Althea Bethea.
It did come from the principal of the school, the principal herself.
Yes.
Yeah, but she can't defy my orders. So
I understand. It's not recent. It's from the fall. It's just the background of what's been going on between the parties that's basically led up to this.
okay, you can present that. Can you share it?
Yes, if you'll just give me 1 second. Okay, Mr. Ellison, is this the letter that was written by the principal?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, that's the letter.
Okay. And are you asking the court to consider this letter today?
Yes, I am.
I'm trying to expand it, Your Honor, so I don't, yeah, there we go.
Okay.
Is that easier for the court to see? And then I can scroll up and down as I need to.
The problem is that the document actually does say otherwise. So I don't know, you're not attorneys, but you would think they could read. It specifically indicates that the physical custody of this child is the mother's. So so he can't live with the father because the order said so. And then the order that I rewrote the other day specifically said, I don't know why you're not reading this order, but I'm as clear as I possibly can be. Mother is the physical custodian. And not only is she the physical custodian, she makes all final decisions related to education. There is no ambiguity whatsoever, other than the child was, reacted that way. And I can understand them taking their time. But when the second order came and they're saying that they were not clear, her order wasn't clear, I made my order clear. And I indicated at the bottom, I can be no clearer. There's nothing else I can give you. But the school should not have interfered with the custody of this child, period, because it was very clear. So I'm not sure.
Excuse me, ma'am, I beg you. My son is man, he's in danger. He's not in good standings being with his mother. She doesn't even have a place to stay now at this moment.
Ms. Hernandez, where do you live? Okay. Where do you currently reside?
Stockbridge, in a house. Me and my cousin has a house together.
How many bedrooms are in the house?
6.
And how many people are living there with you and your cousin?
7.
And who are they?
My cousin has 2 sons, Damani and Damari. She has a daughter, Zaria, herself, me, my 2 daughters, and Christian once he's here.
Mr. Ellison said something about you pulled the gun. I don't know if he said you pulled a gun on Christian or someone else. I'm not really certain. Do you know?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I don't know where he's getting that information from, how he would know something like that. No, ma'am.
I have the police report. That's some domestic stuff that was going on within their home.
Oh, you mean, okay. So you're saying she and someone else got into it and a gun was pulled?
Yes, in front with the kids there at the house. Her husband or ex-husband, whoever she was living with when they was in Gwinnett.
Okay. You're married, Ms. Hernandez?
Yes.
Okay. Where is your husband?
He's at work.
No, does he live with you?
No,
Okay, so where does he live?
he's still living in Gwinnett. But I
Why
would like
are
to see
y'all,
this report.
why is that? Are y'all separated, legally separated, or why is he there and you're somewhere else?
Well, yes, we're separated for now for an affair. An affair he was having. Because he's making it seem as if it was some type of violent situation.
Okay, listen.
I have the
I need you
police
to focus- I
report.
need you to focus on me. And
It's violent police
outside
report.
interference, you need to, they need to stop interfering. You're in the middle of court.
Excuse me, man. There's a violence police report. That police report is a violent. It's a felony for police report.
I get that. I'm not, I understand that there might be some issues going on in the home, but that does not necessarily mean that this child cannot be with his mother.
I don't mind him seeing her. She just need to get together.
You do mind her seeing her. You do mind, because if you didn't mind, the child
No,
would.
I don't mind
You
him
do.
seeing her. I just want her to get her life together, man. I'm talking about, this is my son. He has gotten awards. He's doing better. Being with her, he's been in special studies. He's not. And since he's been with me, he has improved. He has got an award for improvement in reading and math.
Mr. Ellison, you cannot take this child just.
I'm not trying to take, I'm trying to protect him. I just want her to get it together. I don't want to, I want my son to have his mother in his life. I have no problem with that. But what was going on at that time with the violence and everything, a child shouldn't go through that. A child shouldn't have to go hide in the closet. A child should have to call me every other night, Dad, I don't know what to do. I'm scared. Can you come get me? And I can't I can't, you know what I'm saying? I can't help him. He reached out to me to help him. That's the only reason why I went out there. He needed my help. I'm his father. Just like Rochelle's his mother. She's supposed to protect him. She's not supposed to harm him.
Your
That's the only
Honor,
thing
these are all lies. Why, if this was that case, why wouldn't he appear for his interference of custody and state that to the state if that was his concerns?
I've been going to court. We got to go back on March the 4th.
He
I'm
failed
talking
to
about, we
appear.
still
Yep,
have a court date coming up.
we do, and that's why you're being dramatic now, because you know
I'm
you've
not
been
being
interfering.
dramatic, man, because
All right,
you know.
I'm sorry. The two of you don't need to interact. Thank you.
Your Honor, I would like to, I understand the court has issued an order, and I'd like to request that this matter is set down for a formal temporary hearing. I'd like to subpoena the school records. I'd like to have the opportunity to present the evidence and witnesses with regard to what Mr. Ellison is speaking of. And I'm also, at this time, I'm going to make an oral motion for the appointment of a guardian ad litem to investigate the allegations that have been made. So while I respect that the court has entered in an order enforcing the previous parenting plan, given the nature of the setting of today's date, I've not had the opportunity to subpoena the appropriate records, police reports, the actual school records. I'd like to have the child present at the next hearing. He's 12 years old. I think he's old enough for the court to talk to.
He's still 11. He will be 12 on the 4th of March.
I'm not doing that anyway. So what we're going to do, one is the child is going to be returned to mom. Two, I can't afford a guardian ad litem. However, recognize that your client will be paying for it until the court reallocates. So just be mindful of that. if he is on, I don't know what his finances are, but we can do guardian. I can appoint him and go through the DVLF, but recognize that that's a longer process. So if he wants something fast, that's out of his pocket. If he's talking about something that might take them 6 weeks to find someone, and then that whole process, I mean, we're talking months on that one. When you hire someone on your own, you can move a little faster, but when it goes through DVLF, it's a longer process. So that will be one of the considerations. But if you want me to start both of them, we can. Maybe sometimes they work a little bit faster, and we could get somebody without him having to come out of pocket.
Well, I think there needs to be some evidence as to what his income is. So may I question him about that?
Yeah.
Mr. Ellison, where do you currently work?
I work for Kia.
Okay, and what is your position there?
I'm an automotive technician.
And what is your gross monthly salary before taxes?
I guess it could be anywhere. It ranges. It's different. It could be anywhere from 2 to 4,000.
Your Honor, he said $2,000 to $4,000.
Well, hold on. Are you talking about per month? Yeah. Well, it could be anywhere from like 2 or 3 to about 4 to 6 a month. We work on labor, a flat rate.
4 to 6. Okay, look. What do you?
No,
make
it fluctuates because I work by labor hours.
So what do you make a year?
A year I make around about 65 a year, 65, 70. 60.
Huh?
Around about 65 probably a year. Well, I don't know because this is a new job, but I'm supposed to make around 65. But now technically I can say probably like around about my taxes, 35, 40. Really, well, now I can see 35, 40.
When did you start the job?
I've been working last year since the end of summer.
September, August? When did you
No,
start?
we'll say August.
So in 4 months, you made 35?
No. In 4 months, I guess maybe, I don't know, maybe like almost 20.
You just talked.
No, you said a year. You said within the time.
No,
a
I
few
didn't
months.
say that. You said, looking at my taxes now, I made about 35, 40. That's what you said.
Yeah.
So if looking at,
Okay, I'm looking at because I've continuously been working. This is another job, so I'm just looking at my taxes as a whole, not just for that particular job. I was looking at them as a whole, as like if I was filing taxes.
What did you make in 2023?
it doesn't matter. If he's looking at a 60, generally he's going to end up at about 65. He will likely not qualify. So I wasn't trying to do it for like child support purposes. I was trying to figure it out just for
the
the
DVLF, yes, I understand.
sliding scale.
I'm just not really sure, man, because my hours just so I'm not. Yeah.
Okay. So I doubt it. They sometimes will do things on a sliding scale, like consider on a sliding scale. Sometimes they'll have people where he would pay them and those would be reduced. Like I said, we can start that process. I just know it's going to be a longer process because he doesn't kind of meet at 65. Plus, Ms. Hernandez, do you work?
Yes, Your Honor.
What do you do for a living?
I'm an assistant rural carrier at the post office.
Say that again.
I am an assistant rural carrier at the post office.
Okay, rural carrier. Okay, and what do you make a month or a year?
I would say I make about, well, I only work on Sundays and holidays, but if they call me in on a weekday, I could go in if I'm available. So my check is kind of like on the so-so. I would say I make about, when I first started, it was about 1,200, something like that.
A month?
But yes.
Okay, so basically minimum wage. Because that's about 1,200 is about minimum wage. So, yeah, I think I don't think they're gonna qualify. But I will turn that in and kind of see what they could offer. But the reality is that the likelihood is he'll need a guardian ad litem. Most of them will ask for a deposit of about $2,000 to $3,500 if he did it, findings, doing independently,
Your Honor.
which is about, and generally about $3,500 is what you can kind of expect to pay. I would kind of find that to be about what he could expect. And then I would do a reallocation at the end, but you already recognize she's minimum wage, so.
Reallocation at the end. I definitely think
80-20, even if I were to do it right now, but considering the fact she has to use other children and her income, I don't know. Depends on what's going on with her circumstance with her husband. So those will be financial considerations that I would make at the end.
Also, Your Honor, can we find out where Mr. Ellison?
Okay. We're having dialogue. All right. Did you have another question for me, Ms. Smith?
no, I definitely think we need one because
I agree. If
if he's turning 12, the court can consider what his wishes are. But my next question would be, Christian attends Barack Obama Elementary School, located in DeKalb County, and then I would ask the court to issue a ruling that he is to remain in the same school that he's in.
No, I can't do that. First of all, he was moved there. He was someplace else, and then Mr. Ellison took him out of that school and moved him there. It's out of her district, and so I can't have her driving back and forth from Stockbridge.
So you mean, ma'am, I cannot protect my son?
Where
Excuse
you?
me, Your Honor.
Hold on for a second, sir. Where do you live, Ms. Hernandez?
Stockbridge, Henry County.
Yeah, Stockbridge. Driving all the way there every morning would be that's too much.
Also, Your Honor.
Where was he in school previously?
She's close now. It's only 10 minutes away.
No, he was in Rock Spring Elementary.
Where was Rock Spring?
Lawrenceville.
Okay, so
she's 10 minutes from his school now.
Okay. Can you give me a second because I can't hear both of you and think through it. Okay. You're saying that she is 10 minutes from his school now?
10 to 15 minutes from the school he's at now.
No, how he know that?
Okay, so
you said you in Stockbridge. I do live in that area.
Okay. Where
and I talked to your mother too.
I'm sorry, if you would stop talking to her and talk to me, unless you think she's gonna make the ruling.
No, I'm talking about, ma'am, I'm no, I don't.
All right. So she's in Stockbridge, and you're saying that where she is to the school is 10 to 15 minutes?
Yes, because I stay in that area. She's talking about Stockbridge is only 15 minutes from his school. I stay in that area. And Stockbridge isn't that far from Ellenwood and from DeKalb.
Okay. So where is Barack Obama school?
Your Honor, the address, let me pull up the address, 0316 in the DeKalb County school system.
I mean, I'll look it up, but I can't see how that's 10 to 15 minute away from Stockbridge. Clifton Church Road, that's towards the Atlanta area.
No, it's borderline. It's an unincorporated DeKalb County.
Okay, so Ms. Hernandez, I want you to chat me your address.
Your Honor, we would request her address as well. He does have the right to know where the child lives.
Okay, we'll cover that in a minute. I just want to make sure there are no issues of violence that I need to be mindful of before I allow them to give addresses.
I would also like to know where he's living.
Oh.
You know where I live.
Okay, well, she clearly doesn't, because if she did, she would have the kid. She tried to find the child. She made contact with this court a couple of times. And
She
so,
knows where I live. I live in the same place. She has not been by there. See, she plays you all, but it's
but
fine.
you don't think she wants the kid? You think she brought the police by your
She just want. Only thing she
by your
wants is
parents'
money.
house because
She's
she's
just
assuming
concerned with
you
money.
want the kid.
She's just concerned with money. I deal with this on a day-to-day basis. She's not for his welfare. She's not for his protection. She's not for his education. I've been there the whole time, haven't missed any visits. I have my son. All I have him. I have his back. No matter what's going on with him, I'm there to support him. She does not do that. The only thing she cares about and worried about now at this moment is losing child support. He wants to be with me. He's better with me, and I'm there for him. She has too much stuff, and I have police reports. It's not that I'm making up all this stuff. She has numerous police reports.
I'm
I didn't
sorry.
go that.
Are you sure that it's court, Miss? Street? Are you sure it's court and not street?
Yes, court.
And Your Honor, you can even speak with her mother. Her mother can tell you what's going on better than anyone.
Me and my mother don't have a relationship.
But she has a relationship with Christian. That's his grandmother.
Right. Out of spite.
But just like I said again, Your Honor, it's police.
Right. So, Ms. Hernandez, with regard to the address, you're saying, is it a newer subdivision? Because we're not pulling up court.
Yes, it's a new subdivision. They're still building homes.
Okay, that's probably why. All right. So, if we're thinking that the address is near court and street around in the same vicinity, it is an 11-minute drive. Do you have a vehicle?
Yes, but it says it's 25 minutes. Hold on, let me make sure
Okay.
on my own.
I put in the address that was given to me by Ms. Smith, but I don't, like I said, right now I'm showing 1136. Okay, so that is a different address. Okay, so yeah, you're right. So when we put in the port instead of street was 11 minutes, but court is showing 27 minutes. Okay.
Your Honor,
She doesn't have a driver's license either, Your Honor. So I don't know how she's planning on doing that.
Actually, I do have a driving license, Your Honor. I wouldn't be riding in the postal truck if I didn't.
And also, Ms. Hernandez, do you have a vehicle to travel?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Ellison, can you take him back and forth to school from Stockbridge?
We talking about as far as him going to school in Stockbridge?
I'm just toying with the concept.
I
I have no problem with it.
Mr. Ellison, I think she means, could you pick him up from Miss Hernandez's home and take him to the Barack Obama? Is that what you mean, Your Honor?
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
I have no problem. This whole time I have been the cooperative one. I have no problem with driving. I've driven an hour.
He
To
says he
Gwinnett.
please answer her question, Mr.
Yes,
Ellison.
yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes. I'm there.
What are your work hours?
My hours are from 9 o'clock to about, we could say, probably 6, 7 o'clock.
Okay, so how were you planning on handling that if you're at work doing?
The way that I am, I'm a tech, so that I guess my hours are really based on my work, my labor. So I can always leave and go and do things. I can take a 2-hour lunch. I can take a 3-hour lunch, as long as I complete my labor hours for that day or for that week, so that I can make time to leave, I guess, an hour to pick him up, give him something to eat, and take him to wherever he needs to go, so that I will be able to do that. I can make a schedule for him.
And
Ms.
Your Honor, just to keep
Yes,
things,
Your Honor. Yes, yes,
Uh,
I can. Yes.
just to try to keep things stable for
Okay, I'm sorry.
the
Yes,
child,
yes.
we would, if he can do that, we would certainly ask it until we can get back for a more, formal hearing, and present evidence that we just, maintain the status quo just for the benefit of Christian.
Ms. Hernandez, what are your thoughts about that?
Ma'am, I just think that he has a case coming on March the 4th. It's not too far away from now. And if all things that he's saying is true, it would be his chance to present it in front of the state because he has been interfering, like he said, since he was born pretty much. So if all that he's saying is true, then I'm pretty sure the state of Georgia will dismiss his case on March the 4th if he has reasonable cause of interfering with custody.
And Your Honor, now that
And I
Mr.
don't think that we should do that as far as his education, him going back and forth to the Barack Obama school and back here. It is a lot on me as well. I'm not sure where Sam is working, but I believe he was working in Jonesboro, maybe out here somewhere. He was Monroe.
Don't, I'm not concerned right now about what his stress would be. I'm asking you, because here's my concern. My concern is that I don't want him jumping between schools. He's not going to go back. It would be one thing if he's going to go back to the school that he was at previously, where he can kind of pick up where he left off, but he wouldn't go back there. He'd be starting at a brand new school in the middle of the year. Like we're in February. By the time all of these things get ironed out, it'll be March. You'll have 2 more months of school. And I'm trying to have him consistently someplace so that he can finish school and not have the breach in the kind of the education position. So that's kind of where I'm looking at. To some extent, it's not necessarily fair that you find yourself here. But I also want to be mindful of the child's environment and what he has become somewhat accustomed to, although the court has already indicated those hands are unclean from my perspective.
Well, yes, ma'am. I don't mind working with, yes, Your Honor. I don't mind working with Mr. Ellison to do that if he's going to be bringing him to school in the morning and possibly
Excuse
picking
me,
him
ma'am.
up
May I say
from
something?
school in the afternoon because I also have a daughter that is in the 1st grade who also gets off the bus at 3:00.
Excuse me, Your Honor. May I say something?
No, not right now. So you basically, are you home? Because you told me you only work on the weekends, right? And holidays, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So generally when your 1st grader get off the bus at 3, you're home.
Yes.
Okay. And so if Mr. Ellison, have you and Mr. Ellison had any violent contact with each other?
Not lately, but
Okay.
we have
we
a violent
haven't. We have
history.
not.
Mr. Ellison,
But
I'm
we
going
have
to
a
ask you
violent
one more
history.
time, and I'm not going to say it again. I want you to stop talking unless I'm talking to you. I cannot hear both of you at the same time, okay? I cannot. And so all it is just noise going back and forth. It interferes with what I'm trying to do. Stop talking unless I'm talking to you, okay? Do you understand me?
Yes, I understand, ma'am. I
All right,
understand.
thank you. All right, so Ms. Hernandez, what were you saying about?
We haven't had a violent situation in about, I would say, maybe 4 years.
Okay, so after y'all stopped being together, nothing violent has transpired, correct?
No, he has done nothing physically to me since we've been away.
Are you afraid of him to be able to drop Christian off, not get out of his car, but just drop him off in front of the house? I'm kind of in the middle on that. Okay. Is there another public place where you don't mind meeting him to pick up the child, like maybe down the street at a Quick Trip, or another school or a park, or someplace
Another school.
right down
Another
the street
school is fine.
that may have some public, huh?
Yes, another school is fine.
Do you know another public place that's close to your house wherein
Yes. Another elementary school is close by here. He can meet me there.
Pleasant Grove, okay. One second. Okay, so Atlanta Public School, you said, what's the name of it called again?
Pleasant Grove.
Pleasant Grove, okay.
Yes.
All right. And so would it be okay for him to text you and say, meet me here at 5:04 or whatever his kind of Google app will tell him the time he would reach there? You're okay with that? Ms. Hernandez, are you okay?
I'm sorry. Meeting me pertaining to picking him up or dropping him off.
So, well, that's what I'm asking you. So he would have to meet you there to pick him up, and he would have to meet you there to drop him off, unless you were okay with him doing so at the house. So that's why at the house would just be a little simpler, because then you wouldn't have to worry about timing. And because he's old enough to go to the, you wouldn't have to leave the house. The kid would just walk to his dad's car, get in the car. When he comes back, he'll get out the car. And the order would be that Mr. Ellison could not get out the car. He would only be able to drive him up to the driveway. The kid would get out the car. Mr. Ellison would not be able to get out the car.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. Now, go back to you, Mr. Ellison. What were you about to say?
I was just going to ask you a question when you were saying about the unclean hands. It just made me feel that I'm not a parent. So basically,
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
When you were saying that you felt that what happened with him being with me was unclean hands, and I'm like, I'm just trying to get understand throughout this whole process that I'm his father, I'm a parent. When does it come my responsibility, or how does it come, or how do I even enforce my responsibility as taking care of my son, protecting my son, as far as like all Black lives?
I'm going to let you talk with your attorney about unclean hands, but unclean hands means you cannot take a child from another parent and never let them see them and say, I'm doing this for safety reasons. You can't do that. And then
I never wanted to.
Well, I'm not going to fuss with you, Mr. Ellison. I don't care about what you wanted to do. That is, in fact, what you did. So I don't know if you wanted to do it, but that's what happened. She hasn't seen the child since October. So that's what happened. Did you take the child to Ms. Hernandez for a weekend? Have you taken her?
He is traumatized. He does not. I'm asking him. You can ask him.
No, you don't ask an 11-year-old. I'm not having it.
No, but what I'm saying is.
No, I've already said, Mr. Ellison, stop while you're ahead. I'm not having an argument with you about an 11-year-old. Okay.
No, it's not that. The argument is me trying to find out when does it become my responsibility to protect my son.
You need to talk with your attorney. You need to talk with your attorney if you need more information about that. But unclean hands is a legal terminology. The unclean hands is the legal terminology. Just means that you cannot ask for the court to give you something when you're doing something that the court has already told you not to do. So since I told you not to have the child in your possession, you cannot come to me and say, well,
I never got that. I never
in my possession, but I want you to give the child to me. That's what we call.
No, I never got that order. This just happened on the 13th.
You got the order when you got your final order. Your final order specifically said she's to have physical custody. It specifically says when your visitation starts and begins, and you.
So when he's in harm's way, what do I do?
Mr. Ellison, that's what I'm here for. You've heard me ask the court to set a temporary hearing and to appoint a guardian ad litem, and that will address the concerns that you have. This is an emergency hearing today.
At this juncture, the court has made its ruling. Mr. Ellison, I want you to return the child to Miss Hernandez this evening. You'll have the address. I want you to go ahead, Ms. Hernandez, and put the address in the chat so that everyone would be able to see it. I want you to go to Barack Obama School, Mr. Ellison, and indicate that Ms. Hernandez has the right to pick this child up, drop this child off, and also Ms. Hernandez, you'll send the order to them as well.
So how do we go about the visitation and stuff now?
It's the same process.
Until there's a formal hearing and the court modifies it. The court is not addressing that today, is what I'm trying to say. But it does not mean the court would not address or consider it in the future, at the next hearing. This is just an emergency hearing based on the order that's already in place from the previous parenting plan.
Your Honor, I would also like to ask if possible, I can have my made-up visitation missed time with my child.
Yes, we'll address that as well. I'm actually behind on some other matters, but because you have physical custody of the child, you're going to start having your regular visitation now. We can address makeup time a little later. All right. Mr. Hernandez, do you understand the marching orders? One is that you'll take the child to her this evening, and then you can start your drop-offs and pickups to take the child back and forth to school, as we've indicated. You can just tell Miss Hernandez right now what time you anticipate picking him up, and what time you anticipate dropping him off each day. And second of all, you will let the school know that you had a court hearing, and that Ms. Hernandez has the right to drop this child off, pick this child up, and participate in all school activities. All right, I will schedule a hearing. I will try
Your Honor.
1 second, I'm making a ruling. I will also schedule a hearing. I will also try to get the DVLF process started to kind of see if they would consider a sliding scale. I'll do an order on the sliding scale with DVLF. And if that moves too slow and you want to change your mind and get somebody private, you can throw me a couple of names and I will choose someone from that list of names.
Does the court have anybody the court routinely works with in matters like this that the court might recommend?
Not really. I don't really have a recommendation. I look at the names. If they're people I've worked with and I think are good, then I select some from one of those.
Does the court have a list?
Typically. Oh yeah, we do have a list. The unfortunate part though is that my staff attorney is out on leave. So I am winging a lot of things right now, and I don't have that list available to me. I will try to see if I could find it in her office somewhere. And if I do, then I'll send it over to you.
Okay. When would she be back? Is she on an extended leave or?
Extended. She's on an extended leave.
Oh, okay.
But I'll look into it as best I can, Ms. Smith. If you
or I can ask around to other.
Yeah, you can ask around. You can ask around, definitely.
Sure, to try to get someone on this as soon as possible. Does the court have any idea when the court date might be, or is that something we can schedule now? So that
no, I need to look into it. And I'll try to find us a date to have a temporary hearing, but I think it's really important to get this guardian ad litem in place.
Just to recap, what we're the father is after the school day ends today. The father is to take the child to the 11:30. The father is the father ordered to transport every day from to and fro Barack Obama Elementary School.
Yes, it turns out like if he has a dire issue, can't get it done or something like that, they should co-parent, call Ms. Hernandez and say, hey, this is one of those issues. Can you pick him up? If she can, she should do it. I mean, this is the whole point. I'm trying to keep him in a good environment that he's accustomed to right now. And I think it'll be easier for you, Ms. Hernandez, in the transition if he has some common things, like he's still going to the same school. I think it'll be easier in the transition of him coming back into your household as well. Anytime you can make things, streamline them, make them as common or familiar as possible, I think it really helps, particularly in light of the letter wherein he says that he wanted to stay with his dad and felt more comfortable. I think your circumstances seem to have changed, which I think was some of the problems that Mr. Ellison noted. So I don't know how to transition, but he's your child, and of course you know him, so you'll do what you need to do for that transition. But I'm trying to keep it as normal as possible for him if I can. Okay.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
Mr. Ellison, I just want you to listen while I reiterate this. So the minor child is to remain at Barack Obama Elementary School until further order of the court. Father will transport the child to school in the morning and to home at the end of the day, at the mother's address, except for times when he has his parenting time.
Yes. You're going to be following the final order that the court already put in place for visitation and any other matters. No, I'm sorry. I need to go into my next hearing.
All right,
Right.
do you want me to type up the order, or is the court gonna do an order?
Send it to me, Ms. Smith. You'll
Okay.
send it through Ms. Marshall.
All right,
Y'all have a good day.
Thank you. You too, Your Honor.
thank you. I'll call you, Sam. I'll call you.